Hey guys, today I want to talk about something that's kind of obvious, but it isn't for some guys. And some guys, they go out, they get drunk, they get in trouble, things happen, and I'm going to call this video, "Be careful about breaking any laws for this reason alone." But it's not just about breaking laws. This could happen in a lot of situations, okay? And what happens is this, and I've heard this a few times of different people. It happens in different ways. Sometimes it's a guy that goes to the hospital. Sometimes it's a guy that gets locked up for a few nights or whatever. And what happens is a guy will get locked up and the girlfriend raids the house. She sees this as her chance to leave, and she takes everything, moves it out of the house, raids anything that she can possibly raid. Or it could be a wife or whatever. And this isn't just Filipino girls that do this. This has happened in America. It's happened in other countries all over the world. It happens anywhere. But I think over here, it just seems like it happens a little bit more than usual, probably because of the poverty situation and stuff like that, is that if you get locked up, the girl just takes advantage. They become very opportunistic and say, I'm taking off. I'm taking off with all this stuff. I'm going to latch onto his account and then taking off, and I'm going back to the wherever, the provinces, or moving, or what's he going to do? He has to prove it, and he can't prove it, And a lot of the times that's the truth. He can't prove it, He can't prove what he had. But here's a situation that I saw firsthand, was that a friend of mine had passed away. And what happened was the family had called the embassy, and they put an embassy liaison in charge at the time. And he was talking to me because I was the only contact with the family. And he said, "Steve, I need you to go lock down that place and get every single thing you can out of there of any value, because they want all the stuff. They want all this clothing. They want anything that they can get out of there that's of any value." And what happened was, when I went there, you could tell that somebody had already rummaged through there. We don't know who did it. It could have been the landlord, the girlfriend. It could have been anybody. There was a lot of people involved. He'd given keys to a few people. There was just too much going on to try to figure it out. I do know that the girlfriend got away with his wallet. We ended up getting that back. There was a little cash in it, but there was some cash taken out. They were using his ATM card for a while, things like that. Now, he had passed away. So, it doesn't hurt him, but it hurts the family. And also some of that money could have been used to possibly bury him or what have you. But this happens even if people get locked up for a short time, or you go home and you get stuck or something like that, and you're not able to pay your landlord. The landlord might go in there, your girlfriend might go in there, some friend or neighbor might go into your house or whatever. You got to make sure when you leave here that you put somebody that you really trust in charge of stuff. Because I've heard this story way too many times, that people will just steal because it's a prime opportunity to steal. Because if somebody's not there, or they're in the hospital, they're sick or whatever, and that's another thing I've heard of, is when people are in the hospital, they're really, really sick. The people figure, well, he's not coming back. It doesn't look like he's coming back, and all of a sudden the guy gets better or something like that. He comes back and half his stuff is stolen, and maybe it could have been the family that of his girlfriend or his wife or whatever, and it could have been his wife was sick and tired of him and figured this was a prime time to leave. It happens because I've seen this happen way too many times, that whenever the guy is in a bad situation, it's the prime time to do something. And a lot of guys are like this too with women, only without the stealing and stuff. What they'll do is they'll take off or whatever, because it's a good time to take off during some when something's happening like this here, and some girls see this as the opportunity to just grab what they can and take off. And I just heard this story again the other day from one of the vloggers talking about a guy that went in jail, and I guess some of his stuff must have got stolen too, and it just jogged my memory of this. And I said, something. Sometimes, you can see the good in people, but you don't see the bad till there's an opportunity for them to show you the bad, and you don't see it till it's too late sometimes. And you might not think that your girlfriend's going to do this. You might not think that your wife's going to do this. But if you're seeing that they're just not as loving or as close to you as they usually are, then that might be a time when they might pull a stunt like this. And, you go to the hospital, you check into the hospital for a while, and, she's not coming into the hospital to see you. She might be up to something, and you just really have to be careful and have your friends look out for you. And make sure you have a good attorney too, guys, for when you check into a hospital, or if you go someplace, make sure you have somebody that's watching your place. Put an alarm system in there if you have to, with an alarm. Do whatever you got to do to lock the place down. If you're going back to the States and you got a girlfriend, it might be a good time to tell your girlfriend, hey, you go back with your parents or whatever for a while. I'm going to lock the house up. You're not married. She could take off with everything in that house. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. And some of these girls over here will do that. I'm not saying all of them. I don't want to sound like this is something that happens to everybody. It is not something that happens to everybody. But during breakups, things like that, opportune time for a girl to start grabbing stuff, and they will. And sometimes guys just say, nah, I don't care about that. But you might later on. You might worry about this stuff later on. If you bought it, it's yours. Keep receipts for stuff. You might send your girlfriend out to buy stuff. And you give her money to go buy an oven. You give her money to buy a washing machine. You give her money to buy bureaus or desks or a computer or something like that. And all of a sudden, during a breakup, she says, that's all mine. I bought it. I got all the receipts right here. Because she's holding all the receipts. She might save all those receipts and you paid for them. So keep that in mind when you're going through some stuff that, these people are 10 steps ahead of you. You're 10 steps behind all the time, because some of these people over here are really, really fast and smart and opportunistic in what they do, and they're devious. Some of these scammers over here. And remember what I said, not all girls are like this, and American girls can be just as bad. When you're going through something really bad or something like that, or you're really down, that's when some women pull stuff. Like I said, though, not all women are like that. And I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to point out that all women are like that, because they're not. I'm just telling you to keep your eyes open, because it does happen. And it happens at a time when you are at your worst usually. That's the opportunity that a lot of these people look for. It might be a girlfriend. It might even be a landlord. It might be a friend. It might be a neighbor. And some of these people might know a little bit too much about what you do and where you have stuff. And the second something happens to you, boom, they're in that house. They know you're in the hospital. You're a loner. You live alone or whatever. And you're in the hospital. Maybe your girlfriend's away or something like that. You make sure you lock down those apartments, and you got somebody watching that place too. Because over here, these things happen, and I've gotten too many calls about stuff like this. And I always think of, why did this happen? And usually it's because people left the opportunity for it to happen. So that's why it does happen. So you really got to be smart over here and really on top of your game all the time. It could happen to anybody. Just don't let it happen to you. Anyway, guys, God bless. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Be careful. That's all I can say to you guys, is be careful over here, because a lot of guys over here are way too trusting. God bless, guys. Take care.